Thanks very much for joining us on the Photo Flunky Show, episode 93. Today's show, we're going to be talking about the new iPhones coming out, at least as they relate to photographers. So we're talking about the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and 10. Hi, my name is William Beem.
Hi, my name is Lee Beem.
And before we get to all that iPhone goodness, I just want to let you know that show notes are going to be available at williambeem.com/episode 93, and you can get a transcript of the show there for free. And there will be links to subscribe to the podcast there, or at photoflunky.com, where you can find this and our other episodes. Also, if you'd like, you can get my free ebook. It is called Creative Portraits. It is about the emotional and creative side of portrait photography, not so much about the technical side. Just go to williambeem.com/free book. And while you're there, check out the homepage and the menu. We've tried to make the navigation of the site a little bit better for you. So everything was under blog before, all the different categories kind of merged together. If you look on the front page or on the menu, you'll see that we've broken out the categories. So if you're interested in lighting, if you're interested in software or photography or portraits or travel, those have their own sections now. It's a little bit easier to use. I hope.
It looks pretty.
Yeah. So I hope you like it. If you want, give me some feedback on it. Tell me what you think. Let's get down to iPhone for photographers and start off with, what do iPhones do well? Lee, you do a lot more with your iPhone, I think, than I do with mine.
Yeah, I use it every day. I do a lot with it. It's convenient. It's nice and quick. And good lighting, it does the job. Assuming that you don't want to do full screen image for a large screen because I don't think you have enough resolution in there to get a good quality image. Honestly, in good lighting, I've taken photos that I've used for blog post headers, which are kind of, fit the full width of the screen, and they've been absolutely fine.
You know what? I've seen portraits taken with an iPhone in good studio lighting, and they look outstanding because the light is really what makes the difference. The quality of these photos can be very, very good on your iPhone. Of course, they're mobile, so if you're into social media, it's like the spur of the moment. You need to get the shot and then post it online quickly. That's what your mobile camera does very, very well.
I did that yesterday. I needed some quick photos. The product arrived a couple of days early and I wanted to do a review, but I also needed to use the time to get the review written up. I just needed some very simple, quick photos of it. I took it outside into the lights. I just stuck up actually I had a couple of pieces of colored paper to make it stand out against the background because it doesn't really have much color in it. And I used my phone. Why didn't I use my camera? Well, I could have used the camera, but honestly, for what I was doing, it didn't make a difference. I don't know that you would have told the difference the way I was using it.
To me, this is the funny part. And we've brought this up on the podcast before, but you've actually had vendor product shots sent to you for a promotion that they wanted you to do. And you looked at the photo and said, my God, that sucks. And you went out and took your own shots with your iPhone, and the vendor came back and said, wow, those are really good. You must have a great camera.
Yeah, they've reposted some of them, and yeah, I've actually been asked to do some for them. Often, a lot of these were done with the big camera, with the DSLR, but there were some iPhone shots in there, and that kind of made it funny. Okay,
so you've got, is it 7 Plus? I've got the 6S Plus. Mm-hmm. Your camera will do a little bit more than mine will.
The difference isn't noticeable, though.
No, when we take pictures side by side, they look the same. Here's what we think iPhones, you really don't do well. And this is when you get into stuff that's specific with the DSLR. A friend of mine is Scott DeUsa. He works for Nikon Professional Services. I met him at Photoshop World years ago. And he recently posted something on Facebook, kind of taunting the new iPhone camera. He's got the new Nikon D850, and he had a 500 millimeter lens. He's at some kind of military base, and he was taking a photo of military fighter jets. He took one with his iPhone, and they're like way, way off because he's not allowed to go up to the planes. Yeah. Then he pulled out his D850 that's got 46 megapixels and a 500 millimeter lens. So first off, the 500 millimeter lens is going to get him a lot closer. Your iPhone isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
But then he did 100% crop in Photoshop, so you could see inside the cockpit, and you could read the writing on the side of the cockpit, and the detail was phenomenal. Well, your 12 megapixel iPhone isn't going to do that.
It's really not.
You can't zoom in far enough on that with your iPhone. There's really no need to worry. And I bring this up because there was a Facebook post about somebody who's really worried about the new iPhones taking business away from photographers. He was talking about, I forgot which magazine, but one of the major magazines did cover photos shot with iPhone.
What is this? It's like this new, insane hobby that everyone has. They're obsessed with trying to find things to freak them out and panic about.
Yeah, and we say that because we just went through Hurricane Irma, which, by the way, if you want to listen to our review of Hurricane Irma, You can go to our other podcast, Orlando Local, and it is at orlandolocal.com/episode. Actually, not episode. On that one, it's orlandolocal.com/59. Just the numbers 59, no episode. I kind of got off on a tangent there, but people are freaking out about this iPhone, worried about losing business. I'm thinking, what you're telling me is someone got paid to shoot a cover. Whether he chooses an iPhone, a DSLR, or a medium format is irrelevant to me. Someone getting paid.
Quite honestly, I'm going to credit that to the photographer. He used the tool and he knew how to use it. There are a lot of things that the iPhone will not do for you, no matter how good you are. It has limitations to its capabilities, but so does a photographer.
Yeah, it's the photographer that makes the difference. So if you're worried about an iPhone taking away your bread and butter, well, if you have to, shoot with the iPhone. I think that you're going to be safe. It's really the photographer that makes the difference more than the camera.
Yeah, have both.
Unless you're standing on the side of an airfield and you really need to get a close-up shot of a jet that you're not allowed to approach. Then you need a DSLR.
I prefer to shoot with my camera. The iPhone is convenient. It's a time thing. It's a time and convenience. I mean, when I come back from a run and when I take photos, I do not want to be doing self-portraits with a DSLR. I don't want to be messing around with a tripod and getting sweat all over the camera and getting it dirty. I don't like dirty things.
Actually, there are a couple of features. One of them came out with your version, the 7 Plus, is portrait mode. And you've done that a few times, but you found there are some limitations with that.
I don't use it for myself. First of all, I don't use it for, you have to use the, the rear-facing camera.
On the only one that will do it in the front-facing camera is the new iPhone 10, which obviously isn't shipping yet. So, but you're right. You got to do it with a rear-facing camera. But what else? You found there was it doesn't always work.
You've got to be kind of far from the person. You also have to have enough distance between the person and the background for it to blur. And
you need to have a very clean background.
Yeah, it's great for dogs. It's nice for a person when there's trees or something in the background, or something. It's okay.
And yeah, it's the newest feature and it's the newest gimmick, which kind of led into what you can do with the new portrait lighting that's coming out. And people were getting really freaked out that, man, if they can do this with an iPhone, why do they need to hire me with my studio lighting? And that, trust me, it's not the same as what you can do with your studio lighting. And the background where they've got, what they call studio lighting, they replaced it with a black background. Well, what that really means is instead of blurring the background, they're just simply replacing the blur with another black.
Well, yeah, because I think when you take as I say, I've used it to try it and it was okay. But I think you get two photos. So you actually get both photos. You get the one where everything's in focus and then you get the one where they've done the overlay with the mask.
And that only works on the Plus version because it's got two cameras. You can't do that on the 8. So here's what you get. If you haven't already been checking out on this, the iPhone 8 is going to come in, well, actually all of them I think are coming in the capacities like 64 gig or 256 gig. They eliminated the 128, which is usually where I went. So in other words, I had to spend another $100 on the phone to get more storage than I needed, but they kind of eliminated the options. People are going crazy about the iPhone 10, costing $1,000. But if you get an iPhone 8 Plus with 256 gigs, you're only $50 away from that $1,000 mark.
It was a $950 for that one?
Yeah. See, it's getting expensive.
Yeah.
And that's even without the Apple Care. All right. So the iPhone 8, you get a 12 megapixel camera, wide angle with an f1.8 aperture. And that's it. It says digital zoom up to 5 times. So really that means that you're just cropping.
Yeah. You can do that afterwards.
Yeah. The 8 Plus, you get 2 cameras. So wide angle, which is f1.8, same thing as you have on just the regular 8. Then you get a telephoto that's f2.8. And that's what allows you to get the difference whether you can do these portrait mode and portrait lighting things. Other than that, you get an optical zoom, which in other words, you don't have to crop in. You can go in optical zoom, and it doesn't say on the specs how far. It says digital zoom up to 10 times. The digital zoom on the 8 was up to 5 times, so you can digitally zoom more on this one, but still you're cropping. And then, of course, you've got portrait mode and the portrait lighting we were talking about, where it kind of changes the lighting on your face and tries to sculpt it in there. All of the other features are the same. You still get your optical image stabilization. You get the same number of elements in the lens, and you get your true tone flash, which is kind of a nice little feature. In other words, just instead of white light, it's kind of giving you a little bit of color to the light. So it tries to keep you from looking like you've got that flash look on you. And there's another there's a number of other things over there, but you know what? I'm not even going to go into them because you get them with both cameras. The only thing that's really different is that telephoto lens. And then you go up to the iPhone 10. The only thing that is different about that camera is that the telephoto is an f2.4 aperture instead of an f2.8 on the rear-facing one. Yeah, I know. And then you've got a much better front-facing camera, so it can do the portrait lighting and portrait mode and stuff like that for your selfies. I'm not into selfies, so I didn't see the need to spend an extra $200 on this phone. There's other features on it. I get that, but it's an extra $200, and it's going to be delayed just to order it for another month. And then the production that they're talking about is not really coming out. So the analysts are saying that it may be 5 to 6 months before they catch up on back orders. And for me, I thought, you know what? I'm due for a new phone. I want a new phone. I went out and ordered my 8 Plus, and it'll be here next Friday.
I mean, if you want a phone, that's fine. If you really want this, but for the camera, for that one thing.
I don't think the iPhone 10 for that one thing, unless you're just really into selfies, it's not really going to be that much better than one that costs you less money.
Are you even going to notice the difference with the selfies? Really, are you going to notice the difference?
Yeah, I would say there is a noticeable difference between what you get with the 8 and the 8 Plus.
Well, it depends how you're using them. I mean, I put a selfie on Instagram with the rear-facing camera on my phone, which isn't one of these, and you're not going to see a difference in that size. Somebody's looking at it on a mobile device. I mean, it's not like I'm using it on a big screen where somebody's opening it up full screen, full size on the website. Well, it's fine.
You've got the 7 Plus, so you have both cameras on the back of yours. I think that's the difference.
But my selfies, I'm not getting both cameras. But
no.
Yeah, so exactly. I was just, even if you're into selfies, where are you posting them? If this is for Instagram and Facebook, I don't think you're going to see the difference.
Probably not. I mean, let's face it, those are going to be small resolution cameras, so you don't need a lot of resolution for it.
How many people are really into photography because of selfies?
Oh, there's tons of people that do selfies. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But people who are into photography, you've got people who are into selfies.
Yeah.
But people who are into photography see what I'm saying here?
No, you're right. Our daughter does selfies. She does selfies all the time. And the extra storage capacity that she's got now really helps her out. She used to have an iPhone 5S, I think it was. And that was, 16 gigs she had on there?
Something like that. Man, yeah, she killed it in like 2 months.
Yeah, she filled that thing up.
And she wouldn't delete anything.
Well, yeah, I don't even understand that. But
hoarder.
But now, she's got 128 gigs. She's got plenty of place for.
No, she's loving it.
She's got plenty of storage for photos, and the 256 is even going to be crazier. Most people, I don't think, are really just living off their phones directly that way. At least not for photography.
No.
If you were looking at this, first off, coming from which phones really is it worth an upgrade? I'd say for the camera and the storage capacity, if you're still down with an iPhone 5, 5S, it's worth an upgrade.
Oh yeah.
If you're at a 6 or 6 Plus or 6S Plus, I'd say it's kind of so-so. The cameras really aren't that much of a difference. I've still only got, on 6S Plus, it's only got one camera on there.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I think, until the 7 that you got the dual cameras back there. But you and I have taken photos side by side and not really noticed a significant difference of anything. Yeah. There have been times I've said, do it on your camera or your iPhone because you've got a better camera. Then we look at it and we said, well, really, what's the difference?
None.
Well, anyways, that was our thought for today. We just wanted to do a little episode on the new iPhones coming out. There's been an incredible amount of hype on this, as with any new Apple product. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an Apple basher. I really love my Apple products. I want to be realistic about them, and that's why I didn't go for the 10. There are other features on that, but to me, the value proposition wasn't there. And also the technology with the Face ID, I think I'd rather let other people be the guinea pigs on that and see how well it works before I end up, because sometimes these things come out and you just end up being frustrated.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Photo Flunky Show. As I said, show notes will be available at williambeem.com/episode 93. And we really do invite you to go there. I mean, not just to check out the show notes, but check out the site, check out the new navigation that we've got. We hope that it really helps you. And if you got any recommendations or suggestions for us, please leave us a comment or fill out the contact form. Let us know. We really want this to be a good and useful resource for you to have. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again next week.